Welcome back to the Her Best Self Pod. I'm Lindsay Nickel, and today I'm sharing something with you that has completely transformed how I show up. Not just in my recovered life, but in my total life. I can't wait to share this one with you, friend. Here we go. Hey girl, welcome to the Her Best Self podcast. I'm Lindsay Nickel, former competitive figure skater and perfectionist, turned God-led imperfect boy mom and digital CEO. If you find yourself constantly thinking about food and wondering if you'll wake up one day free from the obsessive thoughts and behaviors controlling your life, then I've created this podcast for you because I know exactly what it's like to be a downright hot mess trapped in a destructive cycle of disordered eating. I finally found freedom, and you can too, girlfriend. So if you're ready to heal your relationship with food and body and break the chains of control and show up in your best health, then grab your favorite Tarjay journal and let's get to it so you can start living your best life as your best self. Hey beautiful, today I'm talking about a simple 3-question ritual that literally takes less than 5 minutes, and it is going to help shift you from reaction mode to intention mode. And sister, this matters so much more than you might think, especially if you're navigating recovery. Here's what I know. Most of us wake up every single day and we immediately go into reaction mode. You react to how your body feels. You react to the number on the scale if you were still chained to it. You react to what you see in the mirror. You react to anxiety about where you're going to eat that day. And so you're constantly reacting to life as if it is happening to you instead of intentionally creating it for you. And when you're in recovery, living in reaction mode keeps you stuck in the eating disorder's grip. It has you right where it wants you because it loves when you're reactive. It feeds off of that panic, that fear, that overwhelm. But what if you could interrupt that pattern with 3 simple questions that ground you, that focus you, and release what's holding you back? That's exactly what we're diving into today. So I want you to grab a journal, get comfortable, and let's talk about how you can start your week, maybe even your day, or pull yourself out of that funk with an intentional way of viewing your life and what is ahead of you instead of in a reactive state. So before we get into these 3 questions, I'm going to give you a little bit of suspense, but I want to back this up. I need you to understand why this practice is so important and why it's so powerful, especially for eating disorder recovery. Research in positive psychology has shown that gratitude practices significantly reduce symptoms of depression and anxiety and increase this overall well-being that we have in our lives. But here is what's even more powerful when you're navigating recovery and trying to just escape the madness of an eating disorder. Studies show that when you shift from a reactive way of thinking to an intentional practice and mindfulness, you are literally changing your brain. You move from the amygdala, that fear-based reactive part of your brain that your eating disorder hijacks, into the prefrontal cortex, where you can make conscious and value-based decisions. And that is what we need more of, those valued decisions. So when you wake up and you immediately start reacting, I feel bloated. I shouldn't have eaten that yesterday. I need to go exercise more today. I wish I could. I'm going to find a way to walk for an additional 15 minutes. Whatever those thoughts are that are hijacking your mind, when you're living like that, you're letting your eating disorder set the tone for your day, for your week, for your life. You're giving it the power to dictate your mood, to manage your choices, and ultimately to give you worth. But when you can start with intent and asking some intentional questions instead of reactive ones, it becomes a game changer and you get to take that power back. At that point, you get to remind yourself what's true and what matters and what you're actually working towards. Research on mindfulness and interventions around mindfulness shows that practices involving this self-conscious awareness really help interrupt these thought patterns that have been so negative in your mind for so long, and it allows you to create space for healthier responses. And that's exactly what these 3 questions do. They interrupt this automatic eating disorder programming that you've been living on repeat over and over in your mind, and they actually give you a chance to consciously choose differently, a different path, a different way. And I know this is going to sound pretty simple, But I want to dive into these 3 questions I use every single week, mostly in the morning, and especially when I'm feeling myself slipping into old patterns, or if you're getting triggered, this is such a good practice for you, okay? Now, the first question might hit you. It might hit you. This one is a question we've all heard. What am I grateful for? Now, before you start rolling your eyes and thinking, oh, great, this is another gratitude practice, and I've heard this 100 times, I want you to hear me out. This isn't about toxic positivity or pretending that everything is fine when it is not fine. This is about training your brain to look for evidence of goodness, even when things don't look so good. Okay? And here is why. This is why this works. Because neuroscience and studies in the brain show that gratitude practices, they literally rewire your brain over time. When you are consistently practicing gratitude or finding things to be grateful for, you are strengthening the pathways that are inside of your brain that notice positive aspects of your life. And what does that mean? Well, when you're flooding those pathways with more positive things and you're searching for things that are more positive or you're grateful for, you reduce the space in the brain and the brain's tendency to focus on threats, to focus on negatives, to focus on what's not working. Something that those of us that have struggled with years of disordered eating are really good at. Like that negativism can take over. But here's how I use this specifically for recovery with this question. I get super focused. And so instead of generic, I'm grateful for my family, I'm grateful for my son, I'm grateful for my husband, how about I'm grateful my body digested food yesterday without me obsessing over it? Or I'm grateful I was able to sit through dinner with friends and be present in the conversation. Or I'm grateful for the energy that I had because I nourished myself last night. Or I'm grateful for the treatment that I've received in the past because it allows me to not quit on myself. Whatever that is, I want you to get super specific on one thing for that question for that day. If you're going to use this every single day, I think it's a great tool, but let's be real, life is lifing. And so if you use this like once a week, you will be so much better off than where you are now. It's like a recalibration tool. And I want you to see the difference. You are looking for evidence that your recovery is working, that your body is trustworthy, and you're making progress even when it feels really hard. As soon as you search for evidence of why it's not working, your brain is going to find all the reasons why it's not working. Some days, especially when you're in that funk, or you get triggered, or you're stressed, or work's going awry, or a relationship is falling apart, when that gratitude feels impossible, here are examples on those days that you can give permission to yourself. Just start really small. I'm grateful I woke up. I am grateful that the sun came up. I'm grateful that I can lay right here in this bed and stretch all my legs and arms out and give myself a big hug if I want to. I'm grateful that I have a breath that I'm taking right now. I'm grateful that I get to show up today, even when I don't want to. And that's enough. We're going to start where you are. So this is your turn. I want you to write down, either revisit this part of the show or come back and listen to it again, but I want you to write down 3 things that you're grateful for right now. At least one should be recovery related. What's going well that maybe you're not acknowledging? What is going well? Okay, now we're going to get to question number 2. What am I focused on gaining? What am I focused on gaining? Sis, this question is about intention. This is where you shift from looking backward and what you're grateful for to looking forward at all that you've yet to accomplish, all that you're creating. Research on goal setting and intention shows that when we clearly identify what we are moving towards, not just what we want to avoid and escape, we are significantly more likely to achieve it. This is called approach motivation versus avoidance motivation. And your eating disorder has you focused on what you're trying to avoid. Like, I'm scared to gain weight, or I don't want to lose control, or I want to not be judged, or I'm tired of feeling uncomfortable, so I want to avoid feeling uncomfortable. That's avoidance motivation, and it keeps you here. It keeps you stuck. It keeps you in the fear zone. But when you can ask, what am I focused on gaining? You shift into approach motivation. You're moving towards something. You have momentum. rather than running from something. And sis, that's the game changer. I could stop the show right now. We are not running away, we are running towards. That mindset will start to change and build momentum in your life if you continue to reset every single day with that mindset. I know that I'm terrified, but what am I going to get? Where am I going? Not where am I coming from? Instead of, I'm trying not to restrict today, for example, I want you to ask, what am I gaining by nourishing my body today? That's freedom from food thoughts. That's energy to show up for your kids, sis. That is mental clarity for a job well done at work. That is strength to exercise joyfully instead of compulsively. Maybe you're not there yet, but you're on your way. That is getting peace in your own skin. You are heading towards all of those things. Instead of, I'm not trying to body check. This one has come up super regularly in sessions with my clients. I want you to ask, what am I gaining by practicing body neutrality? Sis, you're gaining time and mental energy for things that actually matter, because we shouldn't be staring in our mirror trying to pick apart ourselves. You are gaining freedom from the mirror controlling your mood. You are gaining confidence that isn't dependent on how you look on a Monday that changes how you look on a Tuesday. Instead of, I'm trying not to compare myself to other people or people I see on Instagram, I want you to ask, what am I gaining by staying off of social media right now? Maybe that's presence in your own life, your actual life. Maybe that is protecting your peace or having some connection with people who know you and love you. Do you see how this shifts the entire energy? You're not white knuckling your way through recovery anymore when you focus on it like this. You're intentionally choosing what you want to gain. So your turn. I'm going to flip this one on you just like we did the first one. What are you focused on gaining this week? In recovery, in life, write it down, be specific, make it something that excites you, not something that scares you. We are going towards our very best self. All right, use that time, reflect on this exercise. And last but certainly not least, question number 3. What am I choosing to release? This is where the magic happens, because this is where you can consciously let go of what's weighing you down so that you can actually move forward. Research on acceptance and commitment therapy shows that psychological flexibility, this is the ability to be present with difficult thoughts and feelings without letting them control your behavior. This ability is one of the strongest predictors of your recovery success. Part of that flexibility is learning to release what no longer serves you. So here's what I need you to get out of this episode. You can't gain what you wrote down in question 2 while holding on to everything from your past. You can't move forward while gripping tightly to those old beliefs, those old behaviors, and those old versions of yourself, sis. What needs to be released? This might sound like I'm releasing the belief that my worth is tied to the number on the scale, or I'm releasing the need to know exactly how many calories I ate today, or what that label says. I'm releasing comparison with how I looked 5 years ago versus today. Or I'm releasing the expectation that recovery should look perfect and I feel like I'm constantly failing. I'm releasing the fear that people will judge me if I eat normally. What is it that needs to be released? In life, it might sound like I'm releasing the need to control everything going on, or I'm releasing resentment towards people who don't understand my struggle. Or maybe it's simply I'm releasing the pressure to have it all figured out right now. Or maybe I'm releasing the version of me who believed that she had to be perfect in a perfect body in order to be loved. Now here's the tough love part. Releasing doesn't mean it's easy. It doesn't mean that you won't feel the need to pick it back up tomorrow, but when you consciously name what you're releasing, you create awareness in your mind. And that awareness, sis, it gives you choice. Every time that belief or behavior tries to sneak back in, you can say, no, I already released that. No, I'm not carrying that anymore. No, you're not telling me what to do anymore. Okay, so here's your turn on this question. What are you choosing to release today? Maybe it's this week. Maybe it's this month or this season that you're in. I want you to be honest. Write it down, say it out loud if you need to, and then we're going to release it. So I want to bring this all together so that you can go out and live your life and do something great. Here's your 3-question ritual. 1, what am I grateful for? I want you to look for evidence of goodness and progress. 2, what am I focusing on gaining? I want you to be moving towards something, not away from fear. And 3, what am I choosing to release? What can you choose to let go of? And what's weighing you down? Use this at the start of your week. Use it every morning. Use it when you're triggered. Use it when you feel yourself slipping into old patterns and behaviors. Use it when you're in a funk and you need to get back on track. Just use it. It literally takes less than 5 minutes, but it's going to shift your entire day from living in a reactive place and living in reaction mode to intention mode. And when you're living with intention instead of reaction, friend, recovery becomes something that you're actively creating and going after rather than something you're just trying to survive. So what makes this practice even better, I'm going to give you a little bonus on this episode, is doing it in community with women who get you and who get it. And that's exactly why I've created the Recovery Collective. This is a community and a space where every other week we're going to gather to ask all kinds of intentional questions together, to share what we're grateful for, to share what we're gaining, what we're releasing in our recovery journeys. I want you to imagine having a group of women who understand what it is that you're walking through, who can celebrate you, your wins, remind you that you are the boss of your life, and tell you the truth when those lies in your mind get loud. That's what the collective offers. And so I want you to think about not doing this alone, but doing this in support and in community. If you want to join us, it's not too late. I'll be releasing some details very soon. I've been sending out all the welcome emails for those of you who have been signing up to join us. But if you are ready to join a community support system, this is your chance. No pressure at all, but you can find all the details at herbestself.co/recovery collective. I will drop the link in the show notes. Recovery is so much sweeter, friend, when you are not white knuckling it. And so I hope you've got your quick win for today. These 3 questions are going to change your life. They take 5 minutes. Intention over reaction is your summary. I'm just so proud of you for being here, for doing this work, for showing up, for listening to the show. You can do the hard things. Also, sis, if you do not know, I offer one-on-one personalized coaching. I've got services out on the website, herbestself.co. And many of you have been asking, what recommended resources do I provide for people? You can find a journal out there that is going to help you process your thoughts. It's completely free. You will get a PDF right to your inbox once you subscribe to that. You can go on out to the website. Again, I'll have all those links in the show notes, but I just wanted to show up today, say I'm so proud of you for being here. Until I see you next week, go out, be bold, do the things, and be gentle with yourself. All right, girl, I'll talk to you real soon. Bye for now. Oh, friend, thank you so much for letting me share what was on my heart today. My hope for this podcast is to help more women find freedom from food and body. If this has empowered or blessed you, let me know. I'd be honored for your rating and review of my show, and I'd love to connect with you in my private Facebook community. You really can move from perfection to purpose. Let's break the chains together. I'll help navigate the way. Until next time, bye for now, girl.